Hello. I'm going to turn the light on here. There we go. What? Yes. Hello. I figured I'd jump on here and say hello. Good evening. No, we've been out running around again. Kind of had a fun day. Went to the Y this morning. Went swimming. I haven't been swimming in 22 years. You don't forget how, by the way. So, yeah, it's like I can still swim. The only thing I found different is I float now. You know, my younger days I didn't float. So, a little different trying to swim to the bottom of the pool. But had fun. Hello, Susie. Good to see you tonight. No, and then we got home, laid down, took a nap for a little bit. And then I wanted to run over to JCPenney's, to the Sephora. I have a coupon there that came with my perfume sampler kit, which is, I got back at Christmas time. It's a sampler kit that has basically, was it 3, 6, 7, 8, 16 different perfume samples. And there's that 19, no, that's 4, 8, 9, that's 18 samples. And I've tried all of them. And what I've been doing is basically putting them on, wearing them to bed at night, see how they smell in the morning, see if they, you know, soured, if they still stay nice, whatever. And what I decided I wanted was the Prada candy. It's candy by Prada. And so I figured I'd go redeem my coupon. And it's funny how that's the one they're out of, but she took my name and number, and she's going to call me when it comes in. So I'll see if I can get my bottle at some point. Now, I did wind up, I bought me a couple more of these tops here, which I like them. I basically, there when we went swimming, you know, being I don't have the hair yet, I'm growing it. I went as the guy and just wore one of these over it with my swimsuit. And even though painted nails the whole bit, nobody said boo. But yeah, so I wanted to get a couple more of these because what I'm thinking, these are so nice and comfy. They're made by, what is it, Worthington? Or whatever from over there at, hello, Richard, over at JCPenney's. And so I went over and got me a couple more. And I'm thinking of replacing the old undershirt with them. So, yeah, I know I'm running around braless tonight. Been that way all afternoon. So, yeah, I got me some more of them. So, basically, they're at work. Instead of doing the old cotton undershirt, I can throw one of these underneath, and nobody's going to know the difference. They're pretty much the same cut and style. Nobody noticed. But they're a whole lot more comfy. And so that's kind of the plan there. And then we stopped in at Dress Barn and took a look. And they're kind of limited at the moment. They're just starting to get their spring stuff in. They've got a lot of it that's supposed to be coming in next week. So I actually made it in and out of Dress Barn and didn't buy anything. But they're at JCPenney's. They did get me a new necklace. They got me kind of a silver sparkly thing. You know, it's part of their costume jewelry. It's nothing fancy or nothing real, but it looks awful flashy. And it's silver with, almost looks like a diamond necklace. So we'll see what I can put that with. I don't think the wife has unpacked the bags yet to pull it out. But Squared Company, I work for getting rid company car. So what's, they take your company car away? Because the program we have there is basically we have to buy our own vehicle, but then they've got a reimbursement program, which is awesome. So basically I bought a $43,000 van That's why the Nissan Quest. It's one of the higher end ones. But oh, I love it. Now, out of that 43,000, they reimbursed me 17,342 plus the maintenance, the mileage. They even have for tires, wear and tear, everything on it. So yeah, it worked out really nice. That's the only reason I bought it, was because of all the reimbursement going in. Because if I had to pay for it all out of my own pocket, that'd be rough. But yeah. And then we stopped at Walmart and did some grocery shopping. Now, I did get a couple of looks being dressed like this. I had my long sweater on, but kind of open at the top. And I thought that was kind of cute. You know, I've never really had the guys checking me out. But yeah. And I thawed out some ribeyes today, or I got them most of the way thawed. And so there, tomorrow, I'll be doing a video in the afternoon on cooking ribeyes on the grill again. Woohoo! And I got the biggest potatoes I could get at Walmart. I got a bag of the really big guys. And gosh, I got the butter and the cheese and the real bacon and the sour cream and even the green onions to chop up for it. And so I'm going to have some really good baked potatoes. After having that one with Rosie over at Black Eyed Pea, it's like I just had a craving for it. And we went to Super Salad after the Y today. And the potatoes aren't even warm enough to melt the butter. And it's like, that really sucks. So, you know, you kind of got a potato with solid butter in it. But, yes, I'm going to be doing the steaks. I'm going to be doing the potatoes. And I got some onions to even grill up to go with the steak. And then I got a bag of salad mix and some radishes and some salad dressing and all, blue cheese to go with it. So that's the menu for tomorrow. And then Monday I go back to work. Well, hello, Yankin. How are you tonight? I'm kind of lost without Rosie on here. Hello, Deborah. Kind of lost without Rosie. I always spend my Saturday nights on Rosie. But I did find, though, because I've been feeling better this afternoon, so maybe the pool is a good deal after all. You know? If I could get my hair to grow out a little bit more, I'd go as the girl. You know, kind of... she's already at the East Coast. Wow. Well, I know we pulled at one point back in, what was it, 93. That was with a 55 speed limit. Hello, Pink Sparkle. And we came out west here. Now, I'd pull from Naples, Florida to the Motel 6 in Denver in 39 hours and 20 minutes straight through. Basically, we had enough fuel to roll for 12 hours. Take us 15 minutes to fuel up and a potty break, and we'd be back rolling. And I pull that straight through. So, hello, Toast to Go. Gosh, everybody's looking for a place to go on Saturday night. But, yeah, and then we came out west here, and we played in the Rockies all the way up to Glacier and Waterton and on up to Banff and Jasper. And then we came out of Banff, dropped down into Montana, and came across, went through the Badlands, Mount Rushmore in the Badlands, and then had to stop and see the Corn Palace. And on across, basically I rolled a day, a night, and a day. We spent 8 hours in a Motel 6 room in Minnesota, and then we're back behind the wheel again, and we rolled into Dyer, Indiana, which is right outside of Chicago, which we lived in a house there back when I was a little bitty kid. And it was very interesting. Hello, Fernando. Yeah, I know. I'm braless tonight, so forgive me. But, no, I just had to take it off, you know. Took it off earlier today, and so, yeah. Well, thank you so much, Susie. But yeah, we stopped and we saw the old house that I grew up in. And I mean, this was a big, huge old house. It was built in 1903. Had a dumbwaiter elevator in it and stuff that we used to play in when we were kids. And we got to stop and see the house. And it was planned to be bulldozed out just shortly after because they were going to widen the highway. So, yeah. Wow. Wow. Did you go on vacation? I've been on vacation all week, and I've had so many problems with my back and pinching the nerves in that right leg that it's been kind of a rough week. I haven't been sleeping very well with it and all. And so, yeah. But no, this was back in '93. And then we shot clear over into Boston, stopped and saw the Watkins Glen, New York, walked the gorge, and into Boston. So that was another day, a night, and a day. And so basically, you know, 4-day stretch, we covered, gosh, I don't remember, because we covered 7,500 miles in 3.5 weeks. And you had, it's 22, what is it, 2,200 or 2012 or something from Naples, Florida to Denver. And then we had the long stretch across the country, which it's amazing. You know, you get on I-95 there, or I-90 in Montana, and it's like, we're just going to the end of the street in Boston. That is the longest road to drive. My God, it goes on forever. But my mother was in Boston. We told her we'd come see her. And then we went through Alabama on the way to Florida and saw the, at that time she was the wife, now she's the ex, but saw her parents. And that was a pretty good deal because it was just shortly after that her mother died. So she got to see her mother. It was like 3 weeks before her mother died. And so that worked out. But yeah, we covered 7,500 miles in 3.5 weeks. So I know what Rosie's doing. I know how hard she's pushing. But my thing was, when the kids were little, I'd roll it around the clock. I mean, I'd pull a day, a night, and a day straight through because then they had no clue how far it really was. It really shortened it for them. And that worked out good for us. So, but no, Rosie's pushing some serious miles. She's got a better speed limit now, so that helps. Hold on a minute. Tyson, what are you barking about?
I have no clue. He just scared me.
Does he want out? Anyhow, but no, that was kind of fun at Walmart. You know, we got all the fixings and some other stuff. But that was funny because just about everywhere we went, nobody paid much attention to how I was dressed. And there at Walmart, the guys kind of took notice. It's like, okay, I'll kind of pull the sweater over a little bit. But yeah. I know, I'm a bit of a tease. But come on, it's Saturday night. And in the morning, the wife's planning on going to church. I still need to run like one load of laundry. And just my stuff from like Thursday on. So when my clothes are clean, I'm ready to go back to work on Monday. I did stop and gas the van up tonight, so I don't have to mess with that. So yeah. If anybody wants a link, holler. I'll throw one out there. I'm thinking I've fallen out of the subscription list of Francis's, because otherwise I think Francis would be on. But so no, we kind of did a lot today, and I'm surprised how well I'm doing on that bike. So playing in the pool, I think, did me some good. I used to be able to go down and sit on the bottom for, you know, a minute and a half at a time, and now when I go down to sit on the bottom, I tend to float up. So things have changed a little bit there. But now they've got, you know, a play pool, they've got a lap pool, and then they've got a hot tub. And all three are different temperatures. The lap pool is the cooler of the three, but it's 7 feet deep in the one end, which actually gives me water I can play in. So yeah. Yeah, the other pool, it's like, you know, so much of it's geared toward kids where you're 3 feet deep. So after our little spell over there at Black Eyed Pea, what I did was I took some of the names of the people that were regular and passed out wrenches. So that way, if I'm out doing the mobile and we get somebody in the side chat being nasty, just report them, block them, whatever. I figure if he comes in here tonight, I'll go ahead and try to get to his channel there before we shut him down. And at that point, I can go ahead and pull the information I need to be able to get an IP on him and be able to track him down, because he needs to be reported to the police. You know, we'll get a screenshot of him. Either that, or I was thinking maybe I'll go ahead and record the side chat, but haven't got it going yet. Wouldn't hurt to get it up and ready though. So like I said, if he wants to come in and be an ass again, I can pull his IP, get clear down to where he's at. The fun part is once you get their IP, you can actually go in and check out their IE5 folder, and it's got a record of every place they've been, everything they've done. You know, basically you got a thumbnail of every page they've ever looked at. Which I hate to do that to people, but you know, he's really got a problem. So I did that to a guy over there in Britain there at one point. The guy was just being so nasty and so ugly to me. And I go and I track him back and I go look in that little IE5 folder, and my God, he was a regular on so many adult sites, and he had such a fascination with cross-dressers, and just, it's like, come on, guy. No one I posted his friends list from X Hamster, all his subscriptions, and I took a shot of it and, you know, started posting some of it. And at that point, I've never heard from the guy again. But no, there's nothing anonymous about it here. So, yeah. To where I can kind of show you briefly here. I don't want to expose anybody on here, but hello, Nova. Hello, darling. Carlos, it's not a good time to be doing that. I'll tell you what here. Before we block him out, I'll show you this here. Okay. Here's his channel. And basically, go to inspect it. You get all your information here. Then we come over here to network. And these are his latest log events. We go in on one of those. Right here it says login info. This number here. You take that number, you go into your command prompt, and you want to go to the channel name. You want to go to this number here. And at that point, it'll take you in and show you his login, his password. It'll show you the IP he logged in from. And at that point, you've got the IP. And then all you got to do is track the IP down. It's that simple to find out who somebody is. So, kind of gives you a little briefing on it. You just got to know what you're doing under the command prompt to be able to pull it up. And at that point, you've got his information. So, you know, if he really wants to be nasty, it's that simple. So, yeah. So, yeah, you go to login information, and at that point, like I say, you got to go under a command prompt, which is the black screen. And at that point, you just follow that link. So, 'cause, 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 ' That's all right, Kelly. I don't need to track you down. I know where you are. I'm sure if I look at Google Earth, I could probably spot the RV from space, you know. But no, you see, I actually went to school at Microsoft. And in fact, I don't know if you can, let me see, bring the right screen up so I can see what we're doing here. Yeah, up there in the corner, that's my Microsoft training manual there from when I went through their, was a Windows Advanced Server 2000. And so, yeah, I'm actually certified and all of that. They taught you all kinds of stuff. You know? That's why, you know, when people want to be nasty, I don't get nasty. I get even. Because, you know, there's a way around everything. If you really want to get into somebody's system, you can. It's not that difficult. So, you finished it today. Oh, was that your, oh, what was that you were doing? I don't remember. How come when I go to hide it, it shows? I'll tell you what, I am just going to remove you out of there. And if you want to post it again, Carlos, I'll just block you and then you'll be out of here. Well, see, that's why here at the house, you know, you can track my IP down, but I'm several layers deep. I'm behind 3 different firewalls. And so, yeah, once you get in, you got to keep digging through IP after IP after IP to finally get to me. So I've run into some issues at work with their security where there's times where, you know, it doesn't see me. So, yeah, the fact it can't see me, it won't let me in for my training classes. Well, Fernando, I don't have an answer for you on that one. So, hello, Rob One Out. Oh, absolutely. Rob One is always welcome. There you go. And I just figured, yeah, I need to keep some wrenches out there because if I'm out, you know, doing the mobile on the phone and we get somebody nasty in there, hey, block them, throw them out. No, you've got to really be sick to be talking about a child the way that guy was. So that's why I figured next time he pops in with that, we'll just track him down. At that point, like I said, we can find out where he is real easy because you can get him playing that IE5 folder. So that's one of those. It's a hidden folder. And I actually did a write-up on it once on, I think it was, God, it was the cross-dresser, what is it? It's their, it's their forum, the cross-dressers forum. And this was years back. But, yeah, people were wondering, how do you hide all your information? And you got to know where that folder is. Now, you can't see the folder. However, though, if you try to move it, at that point it will expose. Let me see. It's not giving me the option to just throw him out, so we can go this way. You guys deleted them before I got them. What's that? we'll go that way with them. Give them a little time to think about it. You know, when you start talking sexual things with a child, it's like, you gotta be ill. I mean, believe me, there's like nothing even really sexual in my life anymore at my age. Well, thank you, Anna. So what's everybody been up to? My goal for tomorrow, well, I also need to run some more dishes. I never have hit the bottom on the kitchen. We keep making more before I get there. So, it's your ex-marriage name. Okay. Yeah, I still got my maiden name, guys. I haven't changed that yet. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with the cross-dressing. I'm finding that I'm mixing it up more and more. And I'm also finding nobody cares. Where if I ever decide to make that step, I'm going to already be there the whole way, other than the hormones, you know? There's not going to be any surprises there. It's already going to be test-driven, and you know, I'm already going to know all about it. So, because it's those people that take the jump and they really haven't thought it through, that then they wind up, they're unhappy with it or something. You know, I want to know it the whole way through. I want it clear down to where it's like, all right, I'm already there, been there, done that, and it's like no big deal. So, well, my ex has got, she keeps about every name from every ex that she's had, and she mixes them all up between her first name and her middle name, and goes ahead, and you never know who she is. Yeah, you know, I'm just enjoying life. I don't know how much longer I got. You know, I'm on bonus overtime now. I'm just happy I'm alive every day. And I tell you what, life is so much more fun when you're not concerned about other people and what their thoughts are on you. And, you know, hey, I'm comfortable. I'm happy. You know, when I'm out and about, nobody gives me crap. I always get beautiful women that come and talk to me, which I like that. That's kind of cool. Oh, cool, Nova. Good. You're gonna take Cookie's name. Hey, still got the chapel set up out back. I'm waiting for that day. I am so ready, Nova. Well, Deborah, my whole thing, when I first got married, I thought it was for life. And we were married for 18 years. And then all of a sudden, she wound up with some new friends. They got her into meth. And then it was a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing. And she'd be gone for days at a time, never come home. And then when she'd come home, she wouldn't have any answers to where she'd been. And, you know, when I found out, she went through $43,000 in 90 days, pulling cash off of everything she could. And at that point, I had to get rid of her. I filed for divorce. She tried to tear my life apart. And when it came down to the very end and we're in the courtroom, because she wouldn't even show up for her own divorce. And when it was headed to final orders and it was going through whether she showed up or not, she shows up in the courtroom and female judge yet. And I was trying so hard to be quiet and keep a straight face because twice the judge was banging her gavel, telling her to sit down and shut up. It's my courtroom. And, you know, all I did was I took all the bills and everything and just 3-hole punched them, put them in notebooks with the tabs on them and cover sheet explaining everything on each book. And at that point, the judge could just look at it and see exactly what was going on with her. And, you know, she lost everything. I got everything that we had left, but I also assumed all the debt. And you know, I got the kids and the house and the whole nine yards. And then, you know, I wound up having to file for bankruptcy because I wound up losing the mobile home in the process and moving in the house. Because this I bought as a rental property. And so I didn't have, you know, that $750 coming in every month, to where I wound up filing for bankruptcy. Well, I didn't have any money to work with. I was living on ramen noodles. I was trying my best to pay the bills. And then I met Kim, and Kim is like, well, let me see if I can help you with it. And she jumps online, downloads the paperwork, and goes ahead, fills it out. You know, we go down to see the attorney, and the state attorney or whatever he is. Anyhow, he's looking it all over. And at that point, he's like, well, who filled this out? And I said, she did. And he asked her, it's like, and who are you to, you know, or what gives you the credentials or whatever to be able to fill this out? She's like, I can read. And at that point, it pissed him off. And he was trying to say that it was all wrong and yada, yada, yada. And he was going to have this and that and all these things. And okay, so then over the next few weeks, it's like we're calling him, trying to get this stuff to him. And he'd never return a call. Well, you know, a couple weeks later, we get a full discharge from the judge. It's like it was right. But the fact that she could sit down, read it, fill it out, have it right, just totally checked his ass. And the only problem there, though, was one of the things she did, she got into my 401k and she took 25 grand out. Now, that wound up, you know, I wound up with that coming out every month out of every paycheck for 5 years. And there was no way around that. So, yeah, she beat me good. But, you know, I took all my lumps up front so that way I could get out from under it and move on with my life. You know, I wasn't going to string it out. Now, she's never paid me any of her child support, and they have chased her for years. And the beautiful part there is when she goes to draw her Social Security, I'll get it. Because at this point, you know, she is set up where she can't even hold a driver's license right now. Okay? And she plays with all these different names so nobody can track her. Any job she has, it's been an under the table thing where they'll garnish her wages. And so, you know, this is the way she's been living. But I haven't talked to her in, let me see, 2018, probably like 2005 or something, or probably like 2005 or 2004 was the last time I ever talked to her. So I have no idea where she's at. Don't really want to know. Don't want any part of her. I know my daughter, though, God, it was like 2 years after our divorce. She sent me a picture of Mom. And, oh my God. The woman looked like she was like 80 years old. And she was my age. You know, she was a beautiful woman. But, man, being on the meth at that point, all her teeth were pretty much gone. She looked like she'd aged about 30 years. And just, you know, the hair was just bright silver. And just, my God, she was scary to look at. It's like, holy shit, I was married to that? Ah! So, yeah, no, what drugs do to you? Oh, my God. I mean, she went down the she went down the tubes really quick. And like I say, in 2 years' time, you know what? I've got a picture of her over here. I can show you what she looked like 2 years after our divorce. And like I said, she was a beautiful woman. Yep. Now, she was one of those that, you know, long as I was giving her the free ride and Then the problem got, I think she had too much free time on her hands. You know. And she was managing a Texaco. She got her job finally, was managing a Texaco. And it's like, you know, she got to where she was always gone nights, you know, supposedly having to be working. And I've got to kind of question that. You know, it was more or less a ploy to get out of the house and go get high. But I don't know. I'm not one to ask questions of them, you know. It's like with Kim. She's got free run. I don't ask. She wants to go somewhere. If she wants to tell me, that's fine. If she doesn't want to tell me, I'm not going to pick her apart over it. I don't know if I can blow it up or not, but we'll see if you can see this. That is what 2 years of meth will do to you. Now, all her teeth are gone and stuff, and it's like, that's pretty scary. Yeah, we've got a boy and a girl, which they're now, it's like 30 and 31, which Daniel is my son from her. So Daniel's on YouTube here, and good friends with Rosie too, and yeah. Which the kids turned out pretty good. Daniel, he basically specializes, he does a lot of trucking and all, and he specializes in oversized military freight. Half the time he doesn't even know what he's hauling because it's, you know, it's classified. They give him the papers on it that just tells him classified and how many pounds and a value on it. And some of these things, you know, are worth, he's got times he's got loads worth like $7, $8, $9 million. And I'm like, oh my God. But I had one load that went up to Happy Harbor above the Arctic Circle. And it was a case of 4 days up, 4 days back. He had to sit there for 10 days while they played the war games. And he took home $8 grand for it. Now, you know, $8 grand in 18 days, that's not a bad paycheck. But, yeah, it was classified load, 2 huge containers. Hello, Eddie. And he had no idea what he was hauling. He gets up there, and the guys go ahead and they open it up. And the one was all the live rockets and the grenades and everything. And the other container was all the detonators and stuff like that. And they never ship them together. But they put them both on his truck. And, yeah, classified it. And he's like, oh, my God. You know, something would have gone wrong in a small town somewhere. He said he'd blown it clear off the map. He couldn't believe the amount of explosives he was carrying. But they don't tell you what it is. You know, so, but he's loving what he's doing. He's managing the yard now out in Barstow, California. And he's doing good. Of course, he's winding up, he's going through divorce now, which I'm sorry about that. But it's a case of, you know, she's too much like his mother. And he found out the hard way. So, you know, I'm not going to tell him who to marry or what to do with his life. That's his life. He's got to deal with it. You know, so listen. Now my daughter is actually, she is the fire watch safety gal with a nuclear power plant in North Carolina. And she's been there for quite a few years. And I haven't talked to her, probably like 10 years, because kind of came out that, you know, I sat down and wrote her a letter because she was saying that, you know, she was in therapy because she was having problems about what went on between me and Mom. And so I sat down and I wrote up a letter. Now, something I never realized, because, you know, she was always my daughter, always will be. But the wife, basically, she had an affair about a week before we got married with an ex-boyfriend. Now then, Morgan is supposed, or not Morgan, but Jennifer was supposedly a product of the honeymoon. Now, she was only 39 weeks in the end, which when I sat down and wrote this out and I looked at that, it's like, wait a minute now. At that point, I really questioned, is she my daughter? And so I sent her a nice letter back and told her, I'd be more than happy to pay for a paternity test to find out. And I have never heard from her since. So it kind of leads me to believe that, she may know different and has just been trying to hide it. But, yeah, so I don't really know if that's my daughter or not. I don't know. I mean, I was very nice about it. I just, like you just like to, confirm. And no, that just, she got no interest. So I'm thinking, all right, the fact that she hadn't even talked to me since then, it's probably a case of I'm probably not the dad. But, all my life I thought I was. And that was my daughter. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. But sure would be nice to at least hear from her at some point and find out. Because like I said, it was a very nice letter. I wasn't trying to be mean, wasn't trying to upset her, but when I actually looked at it, it's like, wait a minute now. Am I the dad? Never questioned it until up to then. And she doesn't even want to do a check to find out. So don't know. I'd be the first one all over it to, okay, let's find out. Are you really my daddy? But no. So, but life goes on though. She's got her life going. And other than that, little Morgan here is growing up and doing great. Oh, there at the Y today, she moved up a level on her swim band. So now she's got the blue band, which lets her go in the deeper water. And there's only one band higher than that, and that's the green band. At that point, she's got free run of the whole place. And come on, she's 8.5 years old, little tiny thing. But no, she took her swimming test today, and she passed her test with flying colors, got her blue band, which, we're proud of her. Because she's only been going to the Y and learning how to swim since December. And so in 2 months' time, she's already moved clear up to the blue band. So she's catching on quick. It's a case of, being in Colorado, there's really no place to go swimming. But it's something you really need to know because if you're ever, around the water or something, you need to know how to swim. It could save your life. And so, yeah, Kim thought it was important enough and Kim wanted also to go down and see if it'd help her exercise. And so she signed up. She gets a discount on it through work. So, yeah, they've been going. And today was the first time I went. And it was actually all right. I didn't know what it would do for my back. When they were doing their, was it Zumba or something? Like water aerobics. I looked at that and it's like, man, I don't know if my back could be up to doing that. But I made the comment to the gal. It's like, oh, come on, get with it. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. And next thing I know, the gal puts the song on and they're all doing it to that song in the Village People. It's like she made my whole day. I was laughing my butt off. Well, I've put it this way. Even this morning, I was having trouble walking on that right leg because of pinched nerves. After spending a couple hours in the pool there playing around, it's like, I'm doing better tonight. I'll know more in the morning. Because what it all boils down to is that disc is so thin now that any little bit of swelling and it pinches that nerve. I'm a fine line between either I can walk or I can't. And I've been getting worried as the week goes on and my back hasn't been getting much better. And I go back to work on Monday and it's like, man, how am I going to do this? But I feel better tonight. It's encouraging. So I'm thinking a little bit of time in a weightless environment may have been just what I needed. And, you know, I was doing some hanging on the side of the pool there where, you know, I kind of pull on the back and stuff. So we'll see. You know, maybe may wind up being a regular in the pool because that may be the only way I can walk. But if it works, I'll do it. But the other day out there to split the wood I did on Friday, what I wound up doing was putting on a bustier that's really tight around me, which I always buy them. I'm basically a 42. I always buy a 40 on a bustier because then it's really snug and I can go braless if I want, or strapless, I mean, and no chance of it sliding down. It's going to stay. And that really felt good on the back. I've been wearing a lot of those this week. And then I put my big heavy back supporter on down low, and that gave me enough support, so I was able to spend 2 hours on the log splitter and get us covered here for a couple of weeks. So yeah. Well, that's cool, Santa, or Anna. Anna D. Santa. I'll be all right. But yeah, I thought about it, but I didn't think it would really help. But I've been feeling better. Having pinched nerve. Went to therapy, pain shots, nothing worked. We just had surgery to release the nerve back in February. See, now we're looking at it. I've got a cardio appointment on the 19th of March. And so I'm taking that as a personal day. And so the wife is trying to see if she can get me in with my regular doctor, because that's, from what I understand, where we need to start with the back. And go in, see him, see if he'll recommend me to, you know, whoever works on that stuff. And because, yeah, he's seen the x-rays too. And that was why, you know, after the x-rays, I'd been taking lots of ibuprofen up to that point. And he was concerned with me tearing up my liver and my kidneys with it. And so then he prescribed some medication here where it's basically, it's like a concentrated ibuprofen that's good for 24 hours. And I always take it at night before bed. So you figure it's been 24 hours since I've had one of those, and I'm still functioning. But yeah, it's a lot less damaging to the liver and the kidneys. So he's trying to help me out. But now the problem is all right, when I'm in pain, what do I take? I can't take ibuprofen for the pain now. So, and just went, oh. Well, have you seen my x-ray there, Deborah? Because, yeah, I've got so much compression there. I used to be 6'1", and now I'm like 5'11 and a half. So I've lost 1.5 inches due to the compression in that lower back. Or 5'11 3/4 or whatever. I've lost 1.25 inches off of it. So yeah. Now I've got a back supporter that I've been wearing on the job for the past year, which it's actually a professional weightlifter's belt. I got it through Uline. And yeah, it's really tight, really solid. And that's the only way I've been able to keep up with the job. Because without the back supporter, I couldn't do it. Ah, really? So they do have a method, though, that basically I'll keep you off work on light duty, I'm assuming, make you rest for 12 weeks. Because if it's only 12 weeks, that I can pull. Thank you, Fernanda. But I've got all the insurance stuff there, so basically I'm good for up to 6 months on disability off of work. Yeah, I'm not going to let it get me down. I'm going to enjoy life all the way to the grave. I don't know when my time's coming. I'm just happy I wake up in the morning and I'm still here. you know, so many of the guys in the family history have died around the age of 50 from heart attacks, blood clots, and strokes. I always thought I could beat that. That's why working for Coca-Cola, thinking, man, all this physical exertion, man, I can beat those odds. Wrong. You're not going to beat what your parents gave you. I was supposed to have been dead New Year's Eve of 2013. Had a 98% blockage in the Widowmaker. I was within a couple hours of being dead. And the doctor said that, yeah, the 2 aspirin I took before I headed over to the hospital pretty much saved my life. But scared the heck out of him there. Because he's like, even if you're on the table and it ruptures, they can't get in fast enough to save you. And so it was a pretty scary day. But too many things went right. And so I'm still here. But yeah. No, basically, I'm sure a lot of you have heard the story on it, but I got up on that morning, and it was on a Tuesday. I was running my Wednesday route because we were backed up a day due to New Year's. And so my day would have taken me out to Calhoun. And I get up in the morning, freezing cold morning out, and a little fuzzy in the head, a little mild chest pain. I'm all right. You know, you wind up with a lot of chest pain that a lot of times is just muscle. So it's kind of hard to tell. And so I get up, and one thing I've been wanting to do for so long, because my sister lost her husband to cancer, and her one thing was she couldn't get into any of the accounts because she didn't have the passwords, the logins and the passwords, because he basically handled it all. And I'd been wanting to put together a list, and I got up that morning, and I was actually running ahead on time. So I sat down, I actually put together that whole list of stuff, threw it in a file here on the desktop. And then I go out the door to work and drive across town over the corner of Powers and Palmer Park. I should have started at the convenience store right there, the little Diamond Shamrock. But I was a little numb in the cheeks and the lips, kind of blowing it off as a cold. And it's like, you know what? I'll hit the Walmart here, grab me a bottle of aspirin. I'll be fine. Well, by the time I got the bottle of aspirin and I'm walking back out to the van, I'm getting numb in the hands and the arms. My speech is getting slurred. And I'm like, well, you know, maybe I'm not going to be all right. So I took a couple of aspirin, called the boss, says, hey, I'm going to head over to the hospital and get checked out. And the drive over there, I was missing blocks of time out of the drive. It was really trippy, but I was aware of it. So I kept myself out in the middle of nowhere where, you know, I wasn't going to be in an accident. And I get over to the hospital, park in the parking garage, walk all the way around the ER, and they leave me sitting there about 15 minutes. Call me back, run an EKG on me, send me back out. A couple minutes later, they come out of the back room with a gurney and 5 people, and they throw me on the gurney, and down the hall we go, and they draw some blood, they took some x-rays, and we're rolling through the halls in the hospital, and I got one gal on this side putting the electric pads on my chest and plugging me in to light me up, and another gal running down on this side of me there that was shaving my privates here, and I was in surgery within an hour of pulling in the parking garage. I literally scared the crap out of them. And, you know, the doctor told me, since those 2 aspirin very well saved my life. And the fact that, you know, I had a 98% blockage in the Widowmaker, there was no blood flow to the heart muscle to allow it to pump. Like trying to drive your car without any gas. You know? But, no, you got in there. I've got a stint in there now. They've got me on Plavix and all, which I'll be on the rest of my life because of the stint. Keeps anything from sticking to it. And then, yeah. And then it was like 2 years after that, I wound up in heart surgery again because on the, when they put you in that donut machine, I'm thinking it's what, MRI or something. But yeah, when they did their scan on it, there was a shadow that showed up there, a dark spot. And so he thought, you know, there's a possibility that maybe there was a blockage there. But it turns out it was a false positive. It was a shadow from something, some other body part. And they went in through the arm at that point. And he got in there, and while he was in there, he went through and checked out all the veins and cleaned out what he could, and sent me on my way. So it's been, what, 2 years, 3 years now since they've done that. So I'm thinking I'm probably a candidate for it again. You know, I'm sure he wants to keep checking on me. But he's never told me I needed to quit smoking or anything. He knows I smoke the pipe. He's not worried about it. You know, he's wanting me to be able to enjoy my life. So, I'm just lucky to be here. That's part of the reason why at work, you know, 14, 16-hour days, they're beating up on me. I'm just glad I'm here to do it. You know? The Clopid sounds familiar. But you going to bed? All right.
Mommy will in just a minute too.
All right. Good night.
I need to get my keys.
Yeah, the Clopid. Let me take a look at that bottle and see what it is. Which bottle is it? Sanford. Okay. It's meloxicam is what he's got me on. 150 milligram tablets of meloxicam. And that's what he put me on when he took me off the ibuprofen. So, other than that, they've got me on pantoprazole, rosuvastatin, something like that. And, okay, yeah, clopidogrel, something like that. Yeah, so that's where I know the Clopid from. And that's the same stuff he's got me on here. And then they got me on lisinopril. So, yep. Yep. And then he's got me on the baby aspirin there once a day. And so, yeah. Yeah, because Plavix is a blood thinner. The Clopidogrel there would be a blood thinner. The baby aspirin's a blood thinner. They've got me on 3 of them. So any little nick or scratch, I bleed like a stuck pig. It's like, goodness. Yep. And it's like I'll be at work and all of a sudden I'll feel something wet and it's like I'm bleeding like crazy. And it's like, I have no idea where I even scratched myself. And so, you know, I'm there, you know, taping a paper towel over it and all because, come on, I'm handling soft drinks. I don't need a biohazard. You know, so I'm trying to get it covered up and dry it out. Because I'm going to bleed for about 20 minutes no matter what. I used to clot up within the matter of a minute or two, but why not anymore? And I also found that the skin has gotten thinner with age. So I don't know if that's got to do with the blood thinners and all, if it thins the skin too. But hey, life is rough getting old. Are you okay? You still in pain? Okay. Well, I noticed I was walking better this afternoon, so I got to wonder if the pool actually did me some good. Yeah, I don't know. Take my watch off. I still got my ring on. I'm going to have to soap that puppy up to get it off. It doesn't just slide. I don't have to ever worry about losing a ring off a finger. I got big knuckles, and trying to get it over that knuckle is the hard part. Now I know with the wedding band, you know, when we were looking to get married, it's like, all right, the last band I had was gold. And I mangled that so bad with the X that I constantly have to, you know, round it back out. So it's like, all right, I either want stainless steel or I want titanium. But with how hard it is to get it over that knuckle, I settled on stainless steel because you can't just cut titanium. So if it ever had to come off and I couldn't get it over that knuckle with titanium, you got a problem. So that's why I went with the stainless steel. So it's got the gold inside on it protected, but yeah. Whoa. See, I've been lucky. As far as I'm aware, I haven't had a stroke. Yeah, I like my pipe, but lately I haven't had enough time to smoke, so we've been doing the cop-out alternative there, you know. the way around it when you don't have time to smoke. And yeah, I've here, you know, today, trying to get myself motivated to go to the pool. I had one of my vitamin water hydro, or monster hydros, which is, you know, like vitamin water plus energy together. And other than the fact it makes you pee a lot, it does pick you up and get you moving. So yeah. Wow. Staph infection attack. Yes, it was. Wow. Goodness. So like I said, I got so lucky on that day because, you know, they refer to that as the Widowmaker. And yeah, if it blows, you're done. There is no saving you. So yeah. Wow. I didn't realize you were that old, Anna. I'm 57. I'll be 58 this year. I was born in 60. Which at least I was born in a round number year. It makes it easy. Otherwise, I'd be like, okay, how old am I? You know. Okay. Well, I'm shooting for this bit here. You know, on retirement, you've got to be 57 and a half before you can think about taking retirement at the earliest point, which that'll be in April. So I've got 2 months yet. I've still got to keep at it before I'm under that wire. And then from there, I'll take it day at a time as far as I can go. You know, I'd love to see another 10 years on the job. Physically, it's probably a pipe dream. Hey, come on, nobody makes it on the street throwing cases for 31 years. I have. I know when I first started, it was all returnables, and at that point, they said that the average person in this career, your back is good for about 10 years. So I beat all the odds. But I love what I do. I love the freedom. You know, I love the satisfaction I get from my customers, my stores. You know, one thing my mother always told me, didn't matter what you did in life, as long as you were the best there was at it. And I tell you what, that's good advice. And so I've always taken pride to try to be the best. And hey, when I can walk into the room with 300 people, you know, some 200 employees, and I'm in a dress, and all I got was respect out of everybody, I make employee of the year. You know, that's one of those. It's like, all right, you've really got to be above the crowd in order to get away with showing up in a dress. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm still too much of the guy down inside. You know, I got to be perfect at this, you know. Got to outwork the Pepsi guy. Got to make him look weak. It's just the way I'm wired. So one thing you learn in this job here, you know, as long as you look better than your competitors, hey, you're king in that account. And, you know, I take pride on writing real tight orders. So when I go in, pretty much whatever's left goes right in the window and gives them just enough to get them till that next truck pulls up. So where they're not sitting on extra inventory, I don't have anything laying there getting old. You're getting the freshest product you can when you walk in to buy it. And yeah. Well, you gotta enjoy life. You know, I don't know how much longer I've got. I planned on doing a whole bunch of videos this week when I was out and about. But, you know, with the leg pain and the back and stuff, it's like I totally capped out on that. Like I really wasn't up to trying to do live streams and all. We were out shopping. But we'll be back at it. Then tonight it was intended to be just a quick run into Penny's and get my bottle of perfume, and I wanted a couple more of these tank tops here. And that's when I found out they didn't have the perfume, so I got my tank tops and I bought a necklace. And then it's like, well, you know, being I got the wife and the daughter here, we'll stop at Dress Barn. Then we went down, hit Walmart. And so where we left the house about 6, it was like 9:30 when we got home. Grabbed a chicken there and brought it home from Walmart. Like we had a pretty good lunch though. We went to Super Salad, which if you've ever been there, it's all kinds of salads and soups, and then they've got they got the baked potatoes, which God, if the potatoes were warm enough to melt butter, would have been great. But yeah. Yep. And things that I've learned, I guess having a wife and kids is actually supposed to make you live longer. You know, having pets makes people live longer. And whatever it takes, I'm going to try to be here. Yeah. But, you know, we all take a chance every day when we step out on that street in a car. And you could become road pizza at any moment. You never know. You know, some guy stoned off his butt or drunk or something could take you out. And that's a chance we take every day. That's why I always try to make sure that, you know, I'm on a good note with everybody when I leave the house, because you never know. I might get hit, might have a heart attack. There's always a chance I might not come home. You know, I'm realistic about it. This is life. So, you know, appreciate what we got. Gotta admit, though, Kim is an awesome gal. You know, she is so sweet and just, my God, she supports me. And however, you know, I'm out running around in a tank top and a little short skirt here. Yeah, it's a little longer than that, but yeah, a little black skirt. Just above the knee. And yeah, she got no problem at all going shopping with me. She did make a comment about without the bra, I got the pokies, and it's like, yeah, well, yeah. She's more self-conscious than that. You know, she tries to hide it. It's like, I just don't feel like wearing the bra. So, Yep. Well, that's just it. What's so funny there. All right. Well, you sleep well. Gosh, take care there, Deborah. You're so sweet. Yeah, and after they go around with the ex, then when I was looking, you know, I was looking for the complete opposite of what I was married to before, which it took a little time to get the whole thing together, you know, because there was nothing. Kim has got nothing in common with my ex, completely different altogether. And so, you know, what you were used to for 18 years, you know, all of a sudden, okay, that's not a part of your life anymore. But then it's like everything's in a whole different direction now. And it turns out, you know, it took me a little time, but no, it's the best thing that I ever did. You know, the fact that I was going to get stuck in the same rut that I was in before. And when I met Kim, it's like, Kim is so genuine. You know, she's so, you know, there's nothing behind the scenes there that you need to worry about. You know, she's above board on everything, you know, and it's like, gosh, it's great. She goes out, goes shopping, you know, hey, I'm going to run to Walgreens and pick up something. I'll be back in a few, and then she's gone for 2 or 3 hours. I don't question what she's doing. You know, she'll come home and she'll be like, well, you know, I decided to run up and get this and run over and pay this and go do that. It's like, okay, well, you know, if it's getting late, I'll send her a text and just ask, hey, you okay? You know, just make sure something didn't happen to her. And she'll send me his response back, yeah, I'm fine. And at that point, it's like, okay, I don't have to worry. Yeah. Well, and the sad part, Anna, one of us is going to go first. You know, either me or her. And that's going to be a sad day for one of us. Or, don't know. You don't get in bed? Okay. Hang on just a minute, guys. I'm going to mute you for just a second. Here it gives me the option. There it is. I'm back. She's going to go get in bed. Morgan already went to bed. Kim's tired. She's hurting. She's got her back and her neck out of place. She thought the pool there would help. Didn't help. She's been to the chiropractor a few times, and he keeps trying to help her with it. But when you sit at a desk all day, you know, that's rough on your neck and your upper back. So my issue is my lower back. Hers is her upper back. And she's got a rib she got a rib knocked out of place here a little while back. And they're still playing with trying to get that right. Now, it was so funny at our wedding, because at that point in time, I was in a pair of knee braces and an ankle brace, and I couldn't walk without the hardware. And so I'm hobbling around. And then just a couple days before the wedding, you know, she was doing some work around here. She was taking the kitchen drawers and cleaning them out and taking them out back, and she was painting them and all to kind of match the kitchen. So they were nice and clean instead of the old wood. And one of the dogs dug a big hole right behind her when she was busy painting. And she steps back in the hole, and she ripped the muscles there on the ankle, sprained it extremely bad, to where she was in a cast and on crutches the day of the wedding. So I couldn't walk, she couldn't walk, and her dad was sitting there laughing at us that, oh, you know, we make a great couple. Neither one of us can walk. And then we've kind of went through cycles where we were both in great shape, and now we're kind of both in bad shape again. At least we're together at it, you know? We're going to make it somehow. Yeah. Not puffing on it enough to keep it burning. And I miss my Rosie. I hope she's having a great time. I still can't get her bell to work. I've unsubscribed to her. I've resubscribed. Click the bell. It says it's good. And then if you refresh the page, the bell's not clicked. So I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I'm kicking it around if I want to go to church tomorrow. Because I think, if I remember right, I think church is at 1. And so it's like I got time in the morning if I get up. I've got one load of laundry I want to do. Try to get a load of dishes knocked out. And kind of get things prepped for cooking dinner. I'll get the potatoes scrubbed up and salted and I'll throw them in the oven. And get them to all I got to do is turn the oven on and stuff like that. So when it comes time to cook, basically I'll brown up the onions, I'll fire up the grill, and throw the steaks on. So if I get some of the work out of the way, then tomorrow night I can kind of relax, unwind, go to bed fat and happy with a good meal, and be ready to go back to the Wolves there on Monday. And right out of the box on Monday is going to be a scramble. Because I have got store reset after store reset coming up next week. So I tried to get myself set up as good as I could going into them here. Because I knew when I came back from vacation, it was going to be ugly. So I tried to get everything under control, tried to get all the discount stuff out of there, get the credits out, and get it all set. So I should be able to sit down here in the morning, just key in all the items that are new. And then I should pretty much roll like business as usual because I shouldn't have too much else out there to worry about. There's only so much time in a day. I move as fast as I can, but I'm getting old. I'm getting old. I'm just tickled that this is doing better after being in the pool. Because I haven't been able to wear my nice heels here all week because that darn nerve pinched. But it's funny when it's pinched. I went through it a couple years back. I had it pinched real bad. And the swelling on it. And the doctor or the chiropractor had to adjust that SI joint. And then I was dying in pain. And then we go into the plant in a meeting one day. And I sit in one of those chairs, which like bottom of the line posture chair. And I sit in the chair for an hour. And when I go to get up, it's like the pain was gone. And that was it. I was fine then for quite some time. So it's just whenever the swelling drops, so that nerve isn't pinched, and it can happen at any time. And it's funny how you'll be dying in pain, and then all of a sudden, bam, it's gone, and you're good. So. But I didn't know how this was going to go down there at the Y, you know. Going in with the painted nails and everything. And You know, kind of somewhere in between. But nobody paid any mind. That was fine. But I wore the identical top to this here with my guy swimsuit. Figured, all right, that kind of covers this up. And so, but yeah, no, nobody cared. That's like, cool. Hmm. And don't need to be showing it all off to everybody. uh, so yeah, you kind of got an awkward stage in here, It's like, how do you deal with it? But, oh, and this week I've been shaving here. I'll go back to epilating again next week. So, yeah, if the way I'm feeling, the problem is finding time. I've got so much I do, and I try to keep up with the house the best I can. I was hoping to get this room here cleaned up and stuff this week. And had so many things I wanted to try to do, but when you can't walk, it makes it a little difficult. So, yeah. However, though, we have spent more money this week than I intended on again. So, I got to quit that. But, I went down to Kohl's there earlier in the week, and all I was after was just some stockings because I was basically down to where I was about out of them. And with the cooler weather, the stockings feel good. So we went down to get those, and then I wound up dropping another $300 on some dresses for my daughter. She had such beautiful stuff hanging there. She was like, oh, I love this. Oh, I want that. I want that. I tried to limit her to 2 dresses, and I know how that dress addiction is. And I'm there, and I'm staring at beautiful dresses, and it's like, oh, I'll figure it out. I'll go ahead and get it, and then I'll just keep working to get it paid for. We'll make it happen somehow. But, no. She wound up with 7 dresses that were like right at $300 for the 7 of them. But there's some beautiful dresses, and she loves them. And I couldn't tell her no. I can't tell myself no. How can I tell her no? It's like, oh, I love it. I want it. It was funny over there at Penny's. They had all this clearance section. And, they had, God, they looked like wedding dresses for kids. Now, from what she's saying, the wife's saying it's connected to whatever it is on Easter, whatever it is, some religion does or whatever. But no, so it's like I saw those, and it's like, let me go check the adult section. Nothing over there. All the beautiful stuff was too big for Morgan and too small for Dad. It's like it all started at like a size 14. And Morgan's barely a 10. All right. I'm getting tired of liking it. Yeah, we'll do the cap out. Solve the problem. I don't have to light it now. Easy way around it. Now, the only problem with going to the Y today was it was 23 degrees this morning, and we're going to go play in the pool. Well, once you get inside, it's nice, but then you still got to come back out and go to the vehicle. And by that time, we were up to like 31. So one thing I did do was take 2 towels. So one to do the basic dry with, and then use it to sit on while you peel the rest of your swimsuit off and all, then dry off the rest of the way before you put the dry clothes on. And I wound up taking the tank top and putting it into the hand dryer and drying it. Because it's like, I like that. They feel good. And so yeah, I dried it out under the hand dryer and still put it back on before I put my flannel shirt on. Then of course my long cardigan. My cardigan. So not a whole lot going on. Now, we did run into our waiter from Black Eyed Peter over at Walmart, Peter, which, oh, he's so cute. Like I say, he'd always show up with his little crown on and everything. And something happened, and they took him off the floor and they put him in back now. So he's not waiting tables, which he's not happy about. But hey, it's still a job. Anyhow, I've got one extra ribeye out of the bunch here when we cook him up tomorrow. So I invited him over. So we'll see if he shows up. I'll be live streaming the grill. So it's been a while since I've had a ribeye on the grill. Probably ought to check the weather in the morning, see how hot or how cold it's going to be. Because what I may wind up doing is, if it's too cold, I've got heat tape that I wrap around the propane bottle, duct tape it on there and throw a blanket around it. And that'll keep the bottle warm so the propane works when it's cold. Because the problem you have when it's like 5 degrees, there's no pressure left in that propane tank. So, yeah. Well, let me see where we're at. I haven't looked tonight. Oh, we are the big 25 at the moment. There you go. You know, it's funny how this webcam flips the image. On the cell phone, it doesn't. The cell phone, it's correct. I know when I'm looking at the monitor, it's like I'm looking in a mirror here. So, let me take a peek and see what tomorrow looks like. See what grilling time looks like. Woohoo! Because I'm looking at throwing them on kind of early in the afternoon. I figured we'd eat early on Sunday, and that way I've got the evening to just kind of finish getting it together, kind of relax, vegetate. Okay, so it's going to be like 37, 38 degrees. Basically, from 2 to 4 p.m., we're looking at 37 and 38 degrees, which, okay, showing up partly cloudy at 2, going on to just sunny by 4, so it shouldn't be bad. Most of the snow is gone. Yeah, I wound up, my hands were so beat up and brittle. Well, part of what happened was being I wear gloves on the job all the time. And I wound up with fungus across the top of my hands from the sweat and the gloves. I thought you could only get that on your feet. Now, the humorous side to it is athlete's foot and jock itch is the same thing. So maybe it was jock itch on the hand, you know? Maybe no. That was humor, guys. But, no, so I wound up having to use the antifungal cream on them. But with having the fungus on it and then getting right into the winter and the cold, it's like, man, they were so chapped, they were raw, they were cracking. I'm still fighting a long crack on that knuckle there that hasn't healed up all the way this week. But it's working on it. Oh, you were in 2 auto? Oh, man. That is awful. That is awful. Goodness, are you okay? Goodness. Now, I'm always scared to death on the road because there's so many people. You never know where they're coming from to hit you. You just never know. You know? Yeah, that thing ain't working. I got my skull going. I'm good. But I had one morning years ago where I was down in Florida there. And I was headed from Naples to Immokalee. This was like 3 in the morning. Ah, cool. But I was headed to Immokalee. Some of the thickest fog you could ever want. And it's like you couldn't see crap. And south of Immokalee, there's this big bend in the road. And I've been doing about 30 miles an hour with my face like plastered to the windshield trying to see. And coming around that corner, there was this big flatbed truck coming toward me. And once you could see him, because, you know, you're already into the turn before you could even see him coming in the turn. And as he comes toward me, there was a car passing him on the outside, a guy in a pickup truck, and he was getting it. And it was a case of from the split second I saw there was a headlight there, all I could do was punch it to the floor and hit the dirt. And somehow he missed taking out the tail end of my car. But I hit the dirt and I cut the wheel around and the whole car slid sideways down into the ditch and covered the whole thing with mud. Came to a stop finally, and it's like, whew. So, all right. Took me a minute to regain my composure. And I put it in drive, and I put my foot on the gas, and it pulled up out of there, and I was fine. The car was fine. But if I hadn't just out and out slammed that gas pedal to the floor and took the dirt instantly, I'd have been in bad shape because this guy was moving, and he had no business passing on the outside of a curve in the thick fog. You couldn't see anything. Granted, it was 3 in the morning, and there's very little traffic, but there's always somebody. So that was one of those. I just about had to go wipe after that. That was too close. Because I just thought for sure he was going to get the tail corner of that car before I got it off the road. But somehow he didn't. So yeah, you never know. You know, and in my case, I could get run over crossing a parking lot. I always park way out in the far end there, leave all the front row for everybody else. You know, I always try to park out of the way where I'm not part of the problem. Besides, I don't want my van beat up by people slamming doors in it. So yeah, I'm going to park way out in the open somewhere. Like when I had Walmart, I'd always park like 3/4 of the way out in the parking lot. People are like, why do you park way out there? Well, because they don't want anybody next to me. So yeah. And I've managed now, I've had the van for 5.5 years. And I still don't have any door dings in it. I've got one paw scratch on the sliding door on the passenger side. That was when we were at the dog park and we're coming back to the van and the doggies go running up to it. I don't remember if it was Tyson or Cocoa Puff that jumped up on it and got it with a claw. So it's just got one little scratch on the side. And it's not that long. It's maybe about 2-inch long scratch. A little fine white line. So, but yeah, I try to protect it. Goodness. And no, I'm not drinking tonight. I had half a shot glass, so about 3/4 of an ounce of rosy stuff there that she brought me last night. Hey, that was fine. That was good. 180 proof. It doesn't take much. So then I'm thinking, okay, a 16-ounce jar. There's probably like 13 ounces still in it. 3/4 of an ounce at a time. That bottle's going to last me a while. But oh, is it good stuff? It's definitely a religious experience when you put it in your mouth. Woo! But the beautiful part with it is, yeah, it hits you hard, but it's so pure that it's pretty much quick in and quick out. You don't wind up hungover from it or anything. It's great. So I'll be playing with that little bottle for quite some time. I'm thinking. That's why when she asked me how long will it take me to drink that much, and it's like, well, when you're doing your hangout there for New Year's, ask me about it. No, quite often. I hadn't had anything since New Year's to drink until Rosie was here. And so, yeah, the next morning, I was a little tired and draggy, but I got an awful lot done. I snapped out of it pretty quick. So, But I got the van serviced and all, so I'm good for the next long run. My tires actually look pretty good. I had a new pair put on the back a couple months ago. I was looking at the front ones here just today, in fact, because I pulled in the driveway. We got people parked at the street, so I kind of had to come in on a tight turn. And it's got wheels sticking out where you can see it. And no, the tread still looks pretty good on it. So I'm not going to sweat it on the ice. I don't know how much more snow we'll get. Usually our worst months are October and February. So once we get past February and into March, usually we'll be a little warmer temperature, a little less snow. But Rosie picked the worst possible week for weather to come. And same thing with my vacation. But it has been nice not having to go out in the cold and the snow. I can stay in here and stay warm. But I did have to get out on Friday and bust wood because otherwise we'd have been out by the first of the week. So I busted enough to carry us for probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Depends on the weather. It's all on the back porch. I just got to bring it in the door. So, whoa, I can imagine. Well, hello, Francis. Goodness, girl, it's good to see ya. Gosh, I'm going to go make sure I'm still subbed to your channel. I haven't seen anything from you. It says I'm subscribed. Yeah, I'm missing my Rosie. I'm missing my Rosie chat. I'm lost without her. Well, good evening, Vicky. I know I'm not normally up this late. I've been on vacation this week, so I've been up later. I'm going to have to get back into the swing of things shortly. But I'm so used to waking up at 4 that it's hilarious. I can stay up to midnight and hit the bed. And at 4 a.m., I still got to get up and go pee, and the dogs want out. So it's like clockwork. Doesn't matter. The body's on that clock. It's going to happen. And I had, I had one night there that pinched nerve and that leg were giving me so much trouble that I got in bed probably about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And, well, thank you. I'm just kind of rattling. But I got in bed. It was like 10:30, 11 o'clock. And by 2 o'clock in the morning, of course, the dog had me in a bad position there. She got over there between me and the wall. Cocoa Puff did. It's like that leg was screaming at me. And I was up for probably about 2 hours. Tyson! Woo! All right, Tyson has gas tonight, guys. Tyson. He is laying down here sleeping, and his butt's right here at my feet, and he just broke wind. And I'll probably had some chicken with me tonight, but that was it. Other than that, it's just been eating his dog food today. Nothing like just cracking it off here, you know? Uh, Good thing I got my blower up here taking it out. Problem is with my feet, because that's my blower up there, the little chain. And what that is, that's why I smoke here at the desk. You don't see me running around the house smoking, because I don't want the whole house to smell like smoke. But that's actually an apartment-sized air conditioner blower unit that I got a hold of off eBay. And then I built a nice cabinet for it up there. And what it does, it sucks the air up, and the end of it is up against the vent at the end of the house at the eaves. And so the bottom, about the bottom third or whatever that is covered with that. So it sucks the air up and it blows it right outside at the end of the house. So that's why it's like Rosie walks in the house and she's like, doesn't even smell like smoke in here. That's because I suck it all up, blow it outside. Got a little girl in the house. I don't want her living in cigarette smoke or tobacco smoke. So yeah. Oh, I can imagine a horse farm. I grew up raising black Angus cattle. They could get pretty weak too. Damn cat almost wasn't back. Huh? What happened with the cat? I tell you what, you know, with all that drama that went on a couple weeks back, you know, it kind of took away some of my interest in some of these people's chats. You know, where they just kept on and, you know, putting people down and all. And it's like, you know what? If I don't like it, I don't need to watch it. So, yeah. But that was when the wife was pregnant, and she's like, you know, you're either going to have to quit smoking or take it outside. And it's like, well, I come up with this idea, and she liked the idea, and it works. It's actually a 3-speed blower here. We've got a low. Well, there's a high. The medium, it rattles a little on, and a low. But what's nice in the summer, you know, if it's like 70 to 75 degrees out and sunny, the house gets warm. You can crack a bedroom window open in the far end, and you got a draft down the hallway. It just keeps the whole house nice. Now, the problem is with the fireplace, because running the blower, if I don't have heat in the fireplace, I get a downdraft. And then when you go to light it, it's like you got to go open the front door for a minute to equalize the pressure to stop the downdraft, to light it and get the heat going, to get the updraft going. So, yeah. But like I say, if they want to have their drama, they're welcome to it. You know, I don't need to be a part of it. I don't watch TV because there's just too much drama on it. And I'm sorry, I like things that are positive. And if there's nothing positive about it and it's all blood, guts, and stuff, it's like, what is that going to do for my life? You know, there's absolutely nothing. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, cows are trippy. It always smells like the cow pasture. It doesn't matter. However, man, do they grow green grass. Hey, cows are great if you've got, because the 20 acres we had a lot of palmetto bushes on it. And the one thing we found with the cows is cows love that fresh new growth in the middle of a palmetto bush. Now, cows don't just bite it off, they actually tear it. And they reach in and they grab that and they actually rip it out, which they pull the heart of the palmetto bush out with it. And, you know, they think it's good stuff. So then the palmetto bush basically dies, and what you have is laying on the ground. It looks like a burlap bag. And great way to clear the palmetto bushes out. Now, a little technique that I found out there that was great Was yeah. All right, Anna. Something I did a lot for a lot of people down there in Florida was you take the palmetto bush. Now, when you go in there, yeah, there's rattlesnakes and everything underneath there, to where very hazardous conditions. But I go in there with the snake boots on and stuff, and you just rip everything out of there and leave the palmetto bush with like the top little 3 or 4 fronds. Well, then it grows up like a palm tree and bushes out. So then next time it's easier to get in there and clean all the dead stuff off of it. But you'll get a palm tree that's 8, 10, 12 foot high. That's actually a really pretty palm tree out of a palmetto bush. And that's just from cleaning all that garbage out. Because the more you take off the bottom, the more it wants to grow up. So people that come into the farm and they're like, what kind of palm tree is that? It's like, it's a palmetto bush. It's like, I've never seen one like that. It's like, well, that's what happens when you clean all the garbage out. And I actually went over to my boss's house at one point and did that. And spent a whole day going through his palmetto bushes and cleaning them up. And he was burning the heck out of all the stuff. And the funny part is there was poison oak through the whole thing. Now, poison oak doesn't faze me. I can play in it all day long, and I never get itchy or anything from it. It doesn't bother me. But my skin is so oily to begin with. Now, the ex-wife was there. She was the wife at the time. And, she was helping clean this stuff up. And we had no idea what we were looking at. And, oh, my God, she blew up like a pumpkin from it. I mean, she was chugging the Benadryl and soaking in the oatmeal tub. But I look back now and, it couldn't have happened to a better person. At this point, I think it's funny. After all, she put me through in the divorce. But at the time, I didn't think it was funny. I was concerned. But I've never had a problem with poison oak or poison ivy or any of that. Really, I have never been around a tree like that. Now, we had a big section of the property was covered in pine trees that were planted back in the 50s for paper. So the rows were like, 8 or 10 foot apart. The trees were like, every 6 or 8, 10 feet. And God, when you went through and you burned all the pine needles out from underneath, you would get the most beautiful green grass that would grow in there. And it was like walking through a cathedral. It was just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, we'd mow it and the whole bit, keep it looking good. Oh, it was beautiful. A lot of work, but yeah, it's amazing. Of course, then we had, bouts with like pine bark beetle and all. And you had a chemical that was, I think it was BHT, if I remember right. And you mix it with diesel fuel. And you basically had to spray the tree from the ground up 10 feet. And yeah, it was gorgeous. That's the one thing I really miss. But you had to spray it from the ground up about 10 feet. Now the problem is it's a systemic chemical, and you're going to wind up, no matter how much you cover up, you're going to wind up like deathly ill for about 3 days afterwards. And, we had to do this on several occasions. You mix up a 55-gallon drum of it in the bucket of the tractor, and I would run the tractor, and I'd be out there with the sprayer. And, yeah, so some of the chemicals I've been exposed to, we used to use chloridane, and then they banned chloridane. And, because the problem with chloridane is it didn't break down and stuff. And, we lived on the well water out there, so I'm sure there's probably some certain amount of chemicals in it. I'm just amazed I haven't had major health issues from all of that. But at the time, we didn't know any better. We did what we had to do. So, we were well set down there. Because there, when they had the big fuel shortage in the 70s, my mother bought a couple of 1,000-gallon fuel tanks and put them in the ground. Well, they were kind of half in the ground. They sat on top of the ground, just kind of sat in the valley. And they were strapped down so in the rainy season they wouldn't float away, but you know, they'd be sitting in the water. But we just pull up next to it and fuel up. You couldn't get $5 worth of gas at the gas pump, but you could call the bulk plant up and they would bring you 2,000 gallons within an hour. So, you know, there was no fuel shortage. That was so jacked. That was created to drive the fuel price up. And we were in the boat off of Boca Grande one night, and there was a lot of fuel refineries and stuff there. And we counted 19 tankers offshore out of sight of land that you could see, because we were offshore quite a ways, and we were anchored for the night. And yeah, during the night you could see all those ships sitting out there just waiting for the price of fuel to go up. Once that oil hit $1 a gallon at the pump, you know, we didn't have a shortage. Well, fuel we needed. It was all just a con job to drive the price of fuel up. And, you know, it's pretty dirty if you think about it. And then, you know, it's like every time now fuel prices try to come down, they throw more taxes or something on it to drive it back up. You know, it's like they're determined to get the money out of us. So, yeah. You know, when you look at the cost of a barrel and how many gallons of fuel that barrel makes, and refining is not that pricey of a process. Basically, you got a big cylinder, it's got a flange around it at all these different levels, and they boil the crude oil in the bottom. And as it rises, it condenses. At whatever level it condenses is what fuel you get. Everywhere from your real thin kerosene and stuff to real heavy, you know, diesel oils, and different things like that. But then when they get all done with it, what's left in the bottom of the vat is basically it's petroleum, ester, whatever. It's your PET that they make all our plastic bottles out of. That comes directly from crude oil. So that's why in the soft drink business, the prices go up and down with the price of oil. So, you know, our case cost is constantly varying depending on what the cost of the PET to make the bottle is. And that's why in a lot of things, you know, they're kind of playing around with different aluminums and all, because it's getting to the point that there's not a whole lot of advantage to plastic over aluminum anymore. It's more of a personal preference by the consumer. So, you know, that's why you see a lot of varying packaging. You know, you see aluminum bottles, things like that that pop up. And, you know, if the consumer took to it, you'd probably see the trend in that direction. But the consumer likes plastic. So, you know, it's really interesting the way the whole thing works. I probably ought to get off of here and go hit the bed myself. I want to get up in the morning and get some things done. You know, it's my last day. Oh, I love Rosie too. I love her hangouts. I didn't realize how addicted I was to it until she's not there. You know, on her live streams, I can't get the bell to ring. So I'm constantly, you know, anytime I'm at the computer here, I'm checking to see, all right, what did she post? And quite often it's like, all right, you know, 15 minutes ago, she did a live stream for an hour and a half. It's like, crap, I missed it. You know, I have trouble catching it. You get wasted on her chat. I think Rosie runs a good chat. Now, there are times where, you know, she gets too much drama there, and I'll turn it off. You know, if the drama is too hot and heavy, I'll go elsewhere. So, but I am going to get off of here. Go call it a night. Need to get my pills and do my doggies. They always get their slice of cheese and their peanut butter chewy before bed. That's so cute to go out and go potty. Because Tyson here, if he gets up in the night and he's got a potty, I'm going to have a big, wet, slobbery face right here breathing in my ear. That's how he wakes me up to go let him out the door. And Cocoa Puff will do the same thing. She'll come up and she'll be breathing in my ear and she'll start licking on my face to wake me up. So I always try to get him out before bed, and that way I get as long of a stretch as possible. But I can almost set my watch by 4 a.m. They're going to be waking me up to go out. So yeah, I just figured I'd come on because, you know, there wasn't much going on. Now I found on my subscription list, because like the videos I've been getting fewer and fewer. And I'm like, why is nobody posting? And I'm finding out that so many channels that I followed for so long, I'm suddenly not subscribed to. So I spent some time this morning resubscribing to them, and it's like, hey, I've got all kinds of videos again. So I don't know why YouTube does that to us. They're getting to be such a problem. They try to make it so difficult for us. And you'd think they'd be happy with us. So I've gotten to where I don't even worry about it. Well, you're so sweet, Susie. And thank you for the nice comments there, Anna. And gosh, I hope you get to feeling better. You know, we're all getting old. Seems to be a big gap in there between the older crowd and the young crowd. You know, there's not too much in the middle anymore. But, all right, well, you guys have a good evening. And I'm going to call it a night. And thanks for coming by. Bye. Yeah, Francis, well, it's 12:07 here, so I'm at least not quite that late. I hope to be pounding logs there real quick there, so, you know. Take care. Good night.